Overwatch 2 fans get destroyed by Blizzard again. Who would have seen this coming?
Overwatch 2, here we go again. Plenty of people are not happy with the state of this game. The user score, you can see, it's pretty low on
Still
the
low.
Metacritic
Nice.
scale. Then if we go to Steam, the user reviews are still overwhelmingly negative, sitting at 9.
Almost 200k reviews. That is insane.
Percent.
Beautiful.
That's both recent reviews and overall reviews, making it literally the worst user reviewed game on Steam ever by a pretty significant margin as well. I've already covered why that is, from Overwatch 2 not really making a significant leap from Overwatch 1 to its monetization and progression and reward systems and loops.
Essentially, Overwatch 2 took everything that Overwatch 1 wasn't and made it worse. Now that's a gamer move right there, Blizzard.
Being a lot worse. And on top of that, you've got things like how the PvE was greatly diminished by how they cut the hero missions. They did retain the story missions, but
He means non-existent. Let's not sugarcoat this.
even then, those are not all that substantial. You know, like they offer some fun, 2 hours or so worth of content, and there are going to be more story missions down the line, but you have to pay $15.
Yes, you're gonna have to pay 15, and the missions are gonna get, shorter, because obviously you're already deciding to give them that money, so why shouldn't they become shorter? And then they're gonna become more expensive and shorter. Probably. Admittedly, who does not think that's honestly gonna happen? It's Blizzard we're talking about at the end of the day.
For each new set of story missions, or pay some kind of fee for new story missions. So, for this free-to-play experience, the fact they have to pay after...
His hair is making me feel uncomfortable because everyone in the gaming universe is literally becoming a bald pigeon, except me, I'm luscious. But he's not balding. Doesn't look like he's balding. I take personal offense to the fact that Young's not balding.
Sure. They cut hero missions with the skill trees and all of the missions that would take advantage of your ability to kind of customize your heroes. All of that's left a very sour taste in people's mouths. Now, a big part of the attraction of Overwatch is the characters.
The hentai. The Rule 34. The Overlook category. You know it's true.
Their backstories and the overall lore.
Their backstories are dumb and stupid. This is why they couldn't make PvP missions, in my opinion, because every single Overwatch character is literally, honestly, just a diversity box tick, if you honestly think about it. Because, what do you have? Diva, a genetic gamer girl. Yeah, I wonder what kind of great backstory can she have. Lucio, a guy who likes music. Wow! Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna have rich and colorful and amazing backstories, said literally no one with a brain.
And that's one area that stands to be compromised as well, because Blizzard recently decided to update Overwatch with official ages for all of the different characters. If you go to the official Overwatch website and
now Diva's 50, by the way.
Say, take a look at Ilari. You can see right here that she was born on December 21st. She's
18.
age 18. You can go back and take a look at Genji and see that he was born on October 28th and is
no one cares about the males, Young. Like, Jesus Christ, click on Diva, please.
7 years old, so on and so forth.
Click
so
on Diva!
Backlash? Well, because if you think about the ages in relation to the lore and the backstories that have been revealed thus far, a lot of these ages don't actually make any sense whatsoever. It just feels like...
I mean, you don't come into a Blizzard game thinking, wow, it's gonna be such a rich and creative... That hasn't happened for 20 years at this moment in time, okay? The lore is not what we play Blizzard games for, okay? We play Blizzard games for false promises and remember the good old days and hoping that Blizzard will someday not actually just, bend us over and spank us from behind.
Like, whoever decided to give these characters the current ages, they just kind of threw numbers out there without really considering what the Overwatch lore has established. And so it's just baffling fans. At the very least, fans had the story and the lore to cling on to, but when even that is being kind of butchered or at least being inconsistent where it just breaks immersion, that's when Overwatch really is going to start to lose the fans. And a lot of fans are baffled by this. So this right here is somebody who posted, here is an Overwatch to now have canon birthdays and ages.
Nice.
And scrolling down, you can see that plenty of people are pointing out that there's some nonsensical elements here, like how the fuck is Kiriko 21 when allegedly she grew up with Hanzo and Genji, and they're like twice her age? And you can see that these issues are
just don't worry about it. Obviously
widespread enough that tweets like this highlighting how Overwatch did the funniest thing possible, release ages that completely fuck over and destroy the barely there existing lore of the world they have been trying to build for 7 years.
I mean, Blizzard's really good at retconning things. Look at the World of Warcraft lore. In the last 5 to 10 years, almost all the existing lore has been retconned in an extremely bad and unredeemable way. So, the fact that they're destroying Overwatch lore when the only lore that matters is Tracer's ass and Widowmaker's thighs, I don't even see a problem with it, honestly. I don't care.
Tweets like these have gained tons of traction. This one right here has over 44,000 likes, 4.8 million views. And in the replies, people are highlighting some of the issues that they've encountered. Once again, bringing up Kiriko, Hanzo, and Genji. Augie here pointed out, no PvE, but thank God we know the age that they are. My favorite part is where Kiriko is 20, Genji is, and this is a mistake, Genji's actually 38, not 28, and Hanzo's 40, but somehow they grew up together. People have even pointed to official images showing Kiriko's past and her training with Hanzo and Genji. Here is Tom, who tweeted, Kiriko being 21 makes no sense when the Shimada brothers are 37 and 40. It means that both Genji and Hanzo are adults in these pictures, but you can see right here, this is Kiriko, and these are the brothers who also look like kids.
Don't worry about it.
They're clearly older than Kiriko, but not by like 16 to 19.
It makes perfect sense if you don't think about it. Stop.
19 years, you can see right here that these two are still kids, clearly, pre-teens to teens. If Genji and Hanzo really were 16 to 19 years older than Kiriko, then they would definitely look like adults in these official images, which is why people are highlighting this image and asking questions such as, I'm supposed to believe that Genji is in his 20s in this picture right here?
Yes.
Which is a very good point. Next up, we got some lore surrounding McCree and the establishment of the Deadlock Gang, which when you look at McCree's official age doesn't make sense in relation to what the current lore has established about him. So right here, McCree was a founding member of the Deadlock Gang when they started in 1976, 47 years before McCree was born, and then was recruited by Blackwatch at the age of 17. Does Blizzard even read their own writing? Somebody else added, additionally, Blackwatch was formed only 8 years before the story's present time, meaning he would be 25 at most. But now, who gives a damn? He's 37 years old, I guess. And Overwatch itself takes place in the mid-2070s, so McCree is canonically 3 different ages, ranging from 25 to 100 plus, depending on the narrative. Like, does Blizzard have a lore master to help them keep track of everything and to...
Dude, do you honestly... At this point, I would not blame anyone who just says, I think the Blizzard lore is AI generated at this point. I mean, look at World of Warcraft lore. Currently, you're fighting a angry, flaming treant, and a rock ice lady is who's gonna join you because obviously she's just misunderstood and shit. It doesn't really get better than that. I'm sorry, but the current day lore doesn't get better than that. And the big reason why is because every single game currently is taking it so safe. Most games don't even have blood in them. Most games will never even depict the character actually dying in a cutscene. It's just not a thing that happens. It's like Batman driving over some pedestrian grandma with 400 miles an hour speed car with, spikes in the front. And it's like, don't worry about it. She's just incapacitated because those were non-deadly 300 miles per hour and spikes. This is literally the quality of the lore.
Make sure that when they put out official information like character ages, it all lines up? Or is it that they just haven't really been doing a good job of keeping track of things? Or haven't been invested enough in really fleshing out the lore until maybe more recently with the story missions. Again, this is just so immersion breaking for fans who have been invested in the characters, their backstories, and the overall lore of Overwatch. Now it's hard to
This is why I'm never invested in a Blizzard game. Or any game in general.
Tell what's real and what isn't, what's canon, what isn't. Others have also been highlighting how Blizzard officially deems Illari to be the youngest character, but Orisa here is age 1 versus Illari's age 18. Now, Illari is a human character. When it comes to humans, she is the youngest character. This right here is not the biggest deal in the world in the grand...
Dude, imagine how bad and shit your parents are if you're 18 and you're like, yeah, go get shot, my girl. Good job. Just please stop.
Scheme of things, but it's just funny seeing certain more robotic characters not being acknowledged in terms of age. I don't know. It is what it is. Some people have been pointing that out. But back to a more serious lore discrepancy. It is highlighted right here by Attack of the Fanboys that some fans have highlighted how Sojourn's age has been brought up with some questionable issues. Sojourn's listed age of 47 means her twin sister was only 14 years old at her time of daughter's birth. Or as Twitter user Save You a Click Video Games put it, Sojourn is 47, which means her sister Valentine must have been 14 when giving birth to Bonnie, which isn't technically impossible.
I mean, that's very modern day, Blizzard. I mean, let's face it, these age limits in America are not gonna last 5 years, okay? The Democrats in America, as pretty much I understand it, every year are trying to pretty much get something through that lowers the legal age. So, you know, the 14 and giving birth, that sounds very progressive in America, at least.
But has certain implications that I don't think that Blizzard was going for, given that Overwatch is supposed to be more, you know, like family friendly. Further highlighting discrepancies is the Drifter here.
Well, it's very family friendly if she has a family at 14. Nice.
Who said that Sojourn's age now suggests her sister had a child when aged 12 to 14. Farah wanted to join Overwatch from a young age, but was locked out as it was disbanded before she could join, yet somehow she's older than Winston, and then the Shimada Bros and Kiriko having a 19-year gap, so on and so forth. And then beyond Sojourn's age implying that her sister gave birth during her early teens, there is also this discrepancy pointed out by Katie. Sojourn cannot be 47. I'm so sorry, but she was allegedly already a military officer when the crisis started 30-odd years ago. Be so serious with these ages, Blizzard. And while Sojourn did join the military at a young age, Katie did highlight that her being a captain at age 19 is still a stretch, especially because her lore says she went to university and then the service for at least a year before becoming a captain, all before the crisis. And then there's...
Maybe she was one of those prodigies that finished university at 9 or something, and then was, you know, emotionally not ready for the... No.
The issue of Mercy and Farah's age, who seemingly have...
Mercy should be like 150. That would just add extra pizzazz to her, I'm not gonna lie. If Mercy's not at least still 100, I'm gonna be pissed.
Have a 5-year age difference.
It just increases her guilt factor, okay? And I want that. I'm not gonna lie. I want that.
It's based on how officially Mercy's apparently 39 and Farah supposedly 34. But art of Farah exists in Anna's origin story that shows a very, very young Farah standing with much of the original Overwatch crew. The gap between the two, between Mercy and Farah, appears much larger than 5 years.
Man, they had Mercy lore, the only part about the lore I know about her, and this is real lore, is the fact that she actually uses her, like, technology and shit to keep herself young. She actually should have been, like, 100 or something.
You can see right here, that's young Farah, and that's Mercy, who seems pretty grown up at this stage. Twitter user Save Your Click also highlighted this in their summary of Kotaku's reporting, saying that Mercy and Farah are 5 years apart, but Mercy and Farah are shown together during the times of the original Overwatch crew and Anna's origin story. In the art, Farah is depicted as a child, while Mercy looks much older than a 5-year difference. I guess one potential explanation is that Mercy had a hell of a growth spurt and just matured very quickly during her teenage years.
Nice.
But regardless of the case,
no, I still want the ultra gilf Mercy.
People are just not buying it. And so some are speculating that it's almost as if Blizzard never wrote down a concrete timeline and backstory, so stuff like ages gets messed up constantly. Others are highlighting how they're
Is this news? Is this new? I, for example, knew that all of that lore is bullshit from the moment Overwatch began. It's like, of course they don't have a concrete anything. They never actually wanted to even make a real lore for this. And by the way, don't misunderstand small, short cinematic videos about some random thing happening as actual lore. That's just made to, for characters to look cool. For example, the Soldier 69 cinematic, or what's his face name is. That one. It's just made to look cool. It doesn't actually give you any lore details about him. It's just made to look cool. There was no lore to begin with in this game, except Roombas suddenly discovered they can attach knives to themselves, and the war began.
Implications that Mercy is significantly older than Pharah. This Twitter user noted how they remember the game mentioning how the healing effect of Mercy makes her age better, so she looks younger than she really is. So yeah, these are just some of the examples that fans have been highlighting. Some are bigger discrepancies than others, some are bigger deals than others, but either way, there are enough discrepancies, there are enough inconsistencies that fans feel disappointed at Blizzard's lack of care for the Overwatch lore and its characters.
Okay. Who do you pick? D.Va, Mercy, Pharah? Tracer or Widowmaker? Who do you pick? Who's your number one waifu, okay? Who? There can only be one right answer, and you know everyone else is wrong. Comment.
Backstories, because so much of the value that's placed in Overwatch is surrounding the characters and the lore that people want to get more invested into. And with story missions now being a thing, if they can't keep the lore together and consistent and immersive and make it feel like, you know, they put a lot of thought and care into it, then it's going to drive even more fans away. Numbers surrounding Overwatch 2 have already not been looking great. There's definitely been a downwards trend when it comes to players and, you know, content creation participation.
Obviously, the fact that Overwatch got released on Steam is like the final nail in the coffin. That just shows how desperate they are. It's like Starfield getting released instantaneously on Game Pass. Things like that just instantaneously show a huge decline in player base and absolutely no certainty of success.
Twitch viewership, you name it. And now with the lore being compromised by this rather kind of clumsy release of ages that don't align.
Again, I don't think there was a lot of lore to be compromised from the beginning. No, seriously, Overwatch doesn't have lore. It never was meant to have lore. So, you know, these ages don't exactly matter a lot because who honestly cares? There was no lore to begin with, so this is not really a big issue, if we're being completely honest in the grand scheme of things.
It's not going to make for better optics surrounding a game whose optics have suffered greatly over the past couple of months and years. I'll be very curious to see if Blizzard will take the feedback from fans and players and will update these ages to be more consistent. But, I mean, the story is one of those things that shouldn't require a patch. You know what I mean? That's at least one thing that Blizzard should be able to kind of hold together. It's so disruptive to one's immersion of a whole universe when that universe doesn't seem to know itself. You know what I mean? Doesn't seem to know its characters, its stories, and its many historical circumstances.
The lore will be just based on Rule 34. I think Rule 34 has way more lore than Overwatch itself at this point.
Stances and happenstances that allow one to just kind of be able to experience a story without having to worry about just such blatant, really obvious mistakes. Stuff that sticks out like a sore thumb and you don't have to really look that deeply into to see how inconsistent this stuff is. So hopefully Blizzard will address all of this in some way. They're either going to have to retcon some stuff or fix the ages to match.
I mean, they're already retconning everything. Again, the game probably didn't intend to have lore to begin with.
Existing lore, or they're going to have to just like change up the lore a bit in some way, shape, or form. Either way, this is just kind of a messy situation for Overwatch's lore, characters, and backstories. But this is one man's take on this whole situation.
It is what it is, young yai. It is what it is. Do you not have an outro plug? Like, what the hell, Young? Well, anyway, that's Young. Anyway, and that was me, Wizard Sensei. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.